everyone, it's Sherry. I hope that you are having a wonderful day. Well, today's project is just so sweet and just so special. It is a set of mini brag books, and I'm making these for Mother's Day, but I'm sure you guys with your creative minds can find many ways to use these. I'll give you a sneak peek on the inside. I haven't decorated the inside. I've simply placed in my papers because I wanted to focus in this video on how to make the books and the holder. But I think that they are just so sweet and just so adorable, and you can place so many different pictures in here, and Mom would love it, Auntie would love it, Grandma would just absolutely be over the moon in love with receiving this. So I am going to show you how I made this. So let's get started. Alright, so we're going to start with making the box first. So to make the box, we need to start with a piece that measures 12 by 11, and on the 12-inch side we are going to score this at 1, at 4.5, at 7.5, and at 11. And we are going to turn it on the 11-inch side and score this at 3, and at 8. Put my scoreboard away. And now we need to fold and burnish our score lines. And let's make sure that we get a nice, tight, and crisp burnish on these scores. Okay, so once we've gotten all of our scores burnished, we are going to need to remove some pieces from this. So we are going to, on one end where we've got our 1-inch score, we are going to remove the 2 triangles on the end. We won't do it on the other end though. We're simply removing those from this end. So I am going to come in with my finger X-Acto knife and just remove these pieces. And so you're going to end up with this. Now what we want to do is we're going to come down to this end and we're going to simply make a cut on the line. So we're going to release this tab, but we're not going to remove it. And we'll do that on the other end. So now we'll have it just like this. All of these are cut apart. And now we're going to come back. We're going to turn it so that it looks like this. And then we're going to cut our tabs out. So let's just go to all of these sections. And we're cutting up to the score line to free up our tabs, and we're going to do the same thing over on the other end. Okay, so our tabs are cut and our box is ready to be put together. So the way that we do this is we're going to bring up this piece, we'll bring over this piece, and then we'll bring up this piece. So the piece with the tab flap over needs to be the last one that you bring up on this section. So what we're going to do here is we're going to place some glue on this part, and now we'll bring up this section because it does not have a flat piece there. So we're going to bring that up. I'll come in with my bone folder and I'm just going to smooth out my glue. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it and do this side as well, so it'll be easier for me to do it this way. So now I'll bring up this piece, and I actually did that backwards. But that'll be okay because it'll be on the inside. And now I can place glue on this piece. and bring it up, and then just get it lined up so that it's nice and flush. Come in on the inside with my bone folder and get that smoothed out. And then I'll do the same thing over here. I'll come in with my glue and I'll place glue right below the score line. And I'll fold this over and get this nice and set up. So now I'll just come back and work my glue in. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to take my flaps and fold them backwards. Okay, so now that my flaps are folded back, I am ready to place my chipboard on the inside of this. And I have got 2 pieces of chipboard that measure 4 7/8 by 3.5. I've got 1 piece that measures 3 by 4 7/8, and then 2 pieces that measure 3.5 by 3. And when you're doing this, start out with these measurements and then trim it down to fit based on the test that you might do. So I always test mine to make sure that it's going to fit. So the first piece that I am going to place is going to be my 3 by 4 7/8 piece. And this will be the actual back of the box. So I'm using glue on this, and I am just going to drop this down inside because I've already tested it, so I know that it fits. I will come back with my bone folder and just work that glue down. And then I'm going to do the same thing with one of my side pieces. Get that nice and glued, and I will stick that on the inside and just get it stuck down and smooth out. And then I'll flip it over and do the same thing. So I'm just going to place glue on this piece, and I'll put it in, and I will make sure that my glue is nice and stuck. Okay, so all of my pieces are in, and now I can just go along my flaps and place some glue, and then I can fold all of these inward. So I'll just fold that in, come back with my bone folder and smooth it out. Do the same thing over here. Do the same thing here. And my last one. Make sure that you get inside of your creases here, because you want to make sure you have that nice and crisp so that your books will slide in without any problem. So there, I've got my box all ready to go for my books. And now we'll focus on making the books. Okay, so I have already made one book, and we're going to make the second book together. So we need to start with a piece that measures 12 by 6. And I have 3 pieces of chipboard, 2 pieces measuring 3.5 by 4 3/4, and I'm just placing that down, and all I'm going to do is make a mini book. So I'm placing down my spine with spacing of about 1/8 of an inch. Okay, just like that. And then I'll trim off the excess. And then what I'm going to do is just fold this up on all 4 sides to get a nice crease. And then I'll come in with my scissors and angle cut my ends. And for those of you that are new to my channel, there was a tip that was given to me by Francine Langlois, who is one of my subscribers and also a friend. And that tip is, if you're not sure about your miter cutting being exact, take one of the triangle pieces that you just cut off and just position it in the corner. And that way, when you go to do your fold over, if your miter cutting is off just a little, you'll still have this paper underneath, and that way the chipboard won't show. So all I'm going to do is just go ahead and run some glue along my edges here, fold this over, and put my book together. So let's do this one. So I'll get it on there nice and tight. Come back with my bone folder and just smooth it down. Use my paper towel to wipe up any excess glue. And I'll do the other end. And this paper is gorgeous. It's from K & Company. And it is just so pretty. And then I'll fold this over. Take a look at it just to make sure everything is down nice and smooth, and it is. And you can see just how pretty this little book is. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to place my inside liner piece. And for the inside liner piece, I'm using this beautiful blue bird and butterfly paper. And it's also from K & Company. So all I'm going to do is tape up the inside of the book. So then once I've got my book all taped, I am going to run glue along the edges of my paper, and this paper measures 8 by 4.5. And I'm just making sure I get enough glue so that it'll stay stuck. And now I can place this liner on the inside of my beautiful little book. And I'll come back with my paper towel just to get everything stuck initially, and then I'll come back with my bone folder and really work that glue in. Want to make sure that all of my edges are down with the glue and aren't going to just start bubbling up. And then I will bring my bone folder in and work towards the center spine. Flip it, do the same thing. Work towards that spine, and I'm going to check it, and what I'm checking for is to make sure that I don't have any paper bubbling in my corners, and if I do, then I'll come back and just smooth that out. So there, we've got our book done, and now we want to put in the inside pages. And the way that I do that is going to be very, very simple. So I'll bring in my scoreboard again, and I have 2 pieces of paper that measure, this is 7.5 by 4.5, and with the 7.5 paper in, I am going to score this at 3 1/4 and at 4 1/4. And then I have a second sheet of the same paper, but it measures 7 1/4 by 4.5. So I am going to score it at 3 1/4 and then at 4. And I will have all of the measurements in the description box. So then what we need to do is we need to just fold these on the score lines, giving it a nice crisp burnishing. And then what you'll notice is that this one has a wider spine than this one. So this one will fit inside of this one. So you take the one that has the smaller spine, place some glue, and then let's place it down inside of this spine, and we're going to try to get it as centered as we can. It won't be perfect, but it'll be good enough. So let's get that down and let's check it. And then once it looks like it might be okay, I am simply going to take it and straighten it up, and then I can slide it over some until this edging here mirrors this edging here. And then I'll come back with my bone folder and just smooth that glue down, and then I'm going to fold it and just make sure that my edges are going to be fine. And I'll open it up on the other side and fold it, and that is a very quick way of just making a little booklet. So now what I want to do is I want to come back with my paper piercer, and I'm going to punch a hole because I'll be adding brads. And punch another hole, and then I'll take my mini brads and just place 2 of them inside. Get this nice and opened up and flattened out. Do the same with this one. And then I'm going to come back with my bone folder and get these as flat as I can because I really don't want them sticking up. And then what I'll do is I'll take my glue, and I'm simply going to place glue on the back, making sure that I get some on the metal. And now I can take this booklet and place it down on the spine here. So I am simply doing what I did with the paper, and that is trying to get it as centered as possible. So I am going to place it down, hold it up so that I can look at it. I think I can slide that over just a little. And then when I think that I have it in a good position, I'll come back with my bone folder, and I'm just going to work that glue down because I don't want it coming up at all. And then I'll open one of my pages, come in and get the glue stuck there, turn it, open the other page, and get the glue stuck. So then I've got this really sweet little book. Okay, so let's bring our box back in and let's place our books to see how they're going to fit. And I think that they are just snug as a bug in a rug and beautiful. So the next thing and the final thing that I want to do to this part of the project is I have these really cute little pulls, and I painted them just to give it, you know, some interest. And I am going to place these down using my E6000. So all I'm going to do is just take a little bit of E6000. It doesn't take a lot for this. And I am just going to spread out a little bit on the bottom. And then I will place this on here. I'm going to try to get this down on my first shot so that the E6000 doesn't smear. And then I'm going to do the other one. So I am going to just place a little bit on the bottom. And now I'll put this down, try to get it matched up with the other one. Move this. I'm going to tilt this just a little bit so that I can look at it and make sure that I have it the way that I want it. And I am going to let this dry for just a little bit, and then I'll be back. Okay, so it's dry enough for me to handle, and as you can see, this box is just so stinking cute. It is just adorable and very easy to pull out. I'm not going to pull too hard because I did use the E6000 and it does need 24 hours to completely cure, so I can handle it now, but it's not fully dry. And this is how it looks on the inside. Really, really cute little books, just perfect for gift giving. So what I am going to do is I will be doing another video on how I'm going to decorate one set of these books so you guys can see how it will look and give you some ideas in case you want to make this project. But I'll bring in the other one so you can see just how cute these are. The papers work together beautifully. Not a lot of time spent making these, so you can make bunches of these for, you know, the friends and family in your life. They'll love to have something like this. So guys, I hope that you have enjoyed this project, and if you have, please hit the like button. And if you are not a subscriber to my channel, I would love to have you join my online crafting family. You guys have a great day, happy crafting, and we'll chat later. Bye.